It started like any other quiet Friday evening in the small town of Maple Creek, Oregon. 6-year-old Emily Patterson's parents were heading out for a dinner date, a rare night alone. They hired 19-year-old Kayla Monroe, the trusted neighborhood babysitter, to watch over Emily. Kayla had babysat for the Pattersons several times before. She was responsible, kind, and well-liked by every family on the street. At exactly 6:45 p.m., she arrived with a backpack, a smile, and her usual warm hello. The parents left shortly after, unaware that this would be the last time anyone would ever see Kayla or Emily again. Hours later, when the parents returned home, the front door was wide open. The living room lights were on. The television was playing cartoons, and the house was completely silent. No babysitter, no child, no signs of struggle, just gone. At exactly 10:24 p.m., a frantic 911 call was placed by Emily's mother. Her voice trembled as she told the dispatcher, "Our daughter and the babysitter, they're both gone." The door was open. "No one's here." Within minutes, Maple Creek police arrived at the scene. There was no sign of forced entry, no overturned furniture, no blood, just 2 untouched plates of macaroni on the kitchen table, and a single shoe lying near the staircase. Kayla's phone was found charging on the counter, her backpack still zipped, untouched. Inside, police found her notebook, lip balm, and a worn-out paperback novel. Emily's favorite teddy bear, Mr. Wiggles, lay on the couch, staring blankly at the front door, almost as if he was waiting for her to return. The house wasn't just quiet, it felt frozen, like whoever took them had walked in unnoticed and vanished without making a sound. The next morning, local news crews surrounded the Patterson home. The headlines read, "Teen babysitter and 6-year-old girl vanish without a trace." Detectives began combing through the house inch by inch. No signs of a struggle, no fingerprints that didn't already belong. It was as if Kayla and Emily had simply evaporated. But then something strange. Neighbors recalled seeing a silver sedan parked across the street around 7:15 p.m. the night before. Unfamiliar plates, headlights off, engine running. One neighbor, Mrs. Langley, said, "I thought it was just someone waiting for a pickup, but it sat there for over an hour." Surveillance footage from a doorbell camera down the block showed a blurry figure, tall, wearing a hoodie, walking past the Patterson house at 8:03 p.m. Then nothing. The figure never appeared again. No license plate, no clear face, no sign of where they went. Police began questioning Kayla's friends, Emily's teachers, even past babysitting families. Everyone said the same thing. Kayla was sweet, protective. There's no way she'd hurt Emily or run off with her. But that's the problem with small towns. Everyone seems innocent until they're not. As detectives dug deeper into Kayla Monroe's background, something didn't add up. On the surface, she was perfect. A top student, loved kids, and had glowing references. But then they found her old social media account, one she hadn't used in over a year. Hidden among photos of high school parties and family vacations was a post from 9 months earlier. A blurry image, a caption that read, "Some people hide their pain behind smiles." But one day, it all comes crashing down. The comments section had been turned off. No likes, no shares, just silence. A deeper digital forensic search revealed that Kayla had once filed a harassment report against a former neighbor from 2 towns over. The man's name? Gavin Rhodes, 32 years old, twice arrested for stalking, released on probation just 6 months ago. When police looked into Gavin's records, they discovered that he had recently moved, just 25 minutes outside of Maple Creek. The silver sedan seen outside the Patterson house? Gavin had owned one until 2 months ago. He sold it, paid in cash, no registration trail. And one more thing, he used to date Kayla's older sister, a messy, bitter breakup that no one in town liked to talk about. Could this have been revenge? A twisted act to hurt the family that left him behind? 3 days after the disappearance, the town of Maple Creek was gripped with fear. Volunteers searched the surrounding woods. Drones scanned every open field. Helicopters hovered above tree lines, hoping to find any sign of the missing pair. On the fourth morning, a dog walker stumbled upon something. Deep inside a wooded trail, 3 miles from the Patterson home, a blue child's jacket, torn, dirty, caught on the branch of a low-hanging tree. It matched the exact jacket Emily Patterson was last seen wearing. Near the jacket, partially buried beneath fallen leaves, a child's drawing. Crayons on paper, 2 stick figures hand in hand, standing next to what looked like a tall man with no face. Detectives rushed the area with K9 units. No blood.
No footprints. No Kale. No Emily.
But then, a broken wristwatch, wedged in the mud, just off the trail. It belonged to Kayla Monroe, and the time frozen on it? 8:17 p.m. The same time the mysterious hooded figure had walked past the house on the surveillance camera. Police now had enough to issue a search warrant for Gavin Rhodes. But when they arrived at his cabin, he was gone. His belongings left behind. Refrigerator still stocked. TV still warm. But no sign of him. Another vanishing act. As investigators searched Gavin Rhodes' isolated cabin, a strange silence filled the air. The walls were lined with dusty books, old photographs, and worn-out furniture. But something about the place felt staged. Too neat. Too normal. Then, one officer noticed fresh scuff marks on the wooden floor near the bookshelf. He pushed against it. It didn't budge. But behind a loose panel, a narrow staircase leading down. No one had mentioned a basement. With flashlights drawn and weapons ready, they descended slowly into the hidden cellar. The air grew colder. The walls turned to stone. And at the bottom, a small, windowless room. Soundproofed. In the center, an old mattress. A child's blanket, a box of crayons, and taped to the wall, a single Polaroid photo. It showed Kayla, eyes open, mouth taped, holding a sign with a date the night of the disappearance. But she wasn't alone. In the corner of the photo, barely visible, was the outline of a child's hand, gripping hers. Both of them were alive, at least on that night. The room had been cleaned. No fingerprints. No DNA, just that photo. Police now had confirmation Gavin had them, but where had he taken them next? Every second was now critical. Every hour without a lead reduced the chance of finding them alive. Just as police prepared to issue a nationwide manhunt for Gavin Rhodes, a call came in from a gas station 60 miles outside of Maple Creek. A security guard reported seeing someone who matched Gavin's description, pacing near a payphone at 3:12 a.m. Detectives rushed to the scene. The footage was grainy, but clear enough. The man wasn't Gavin Rhodes. He was older, balding, slouched posture. Not Gavin, but what he did was chilling. He walked up to the payphone, inserted a coin, and made a 12-second call. The number? A disconnected landline, belonging to Kayla Monroe's estranged father. A man no one had seen in over 11 years. Police were stunned. Kayla's father, Dean Monroe, had vanished from her life after her parents' bitter divorce. He'd been accused of mental abuse. Restraining orders were filed. And then, nothing. No contact. No records.
No trace.
Everyone assumed he had died, or disappeared for good. Even Kayla stopped mentioning him. But now he was back in the picture, and somehow connected to this case. Was he trying to reconnect? Or had he orchestrated something far darker? When police traced the gas station footage back 30 minutes, they found a terrifying detail. A rusted white van, parked behind the building. In the back window, a small drawing taped to the glass. It was a stick figure family. A man, a girl, and a child. The same drawing style as the one found in the woods. Suddenly, everything changed. Gavin Rhodes was no longer the primary suspect. The investigation had a new focus, and it was far more personal than anyone imagined. Detectives now had one name echoing through the silence. Dean Monroe, Kayla's father, a ghost from her past. Using a network of federal databases, they traced a single utility bill paid under a fake alias. to an abandoned trailer deep in the Cascade Mountains, 2 hours from Maple Creek. A SWAT team was dispatched at dawn. The trailer was hidden beneath heavy pine, overgrown with vines, windows blacked out. From the outside, it looked empty, dead. Inside, something else entirely. Old family photographs, nailed crookedly to the walls. A twin-sized mattress. And in the center of the room, a worn music box playing "You Are My Sunshine." On the table sat a newspaper. The headline read, "Teen Babysitter and Child Still Missing, Day 7, circled in red ink. Then they found it, a hidden compartment beneath the floorboards. Empty sleeping bags, crayon drawings, and in the corner 2 melted candle stubs. One pink, one purple. Dean Monroe had been here, and he wasn't alone. Investigators retrieved an old VHS camcorder left behind. The footage was grainy, but real. Kayla, sitting cross-legged on a mattress, gently brushing Emily's hair. Emily whispered, "When are we going home?" Kayla replied softly, "Soon, sweetheart, I promise." It was dated 2 days prior, and then static. The tape ended. Kayla was alive. Emily was alive. But for how long? And where were they now? The chilling part? Dean wasn't in the video, but the camera was rolling, which meant someone else was watching them. Day 8. Rain poured over the Maple Creek Valley, and then an anonymous tip came in. A man had seen a young woman and a child boarding an old ferry, heading toward an abandoned island once used as a summer camp, now long forgotten. The tip matched a location known to authorities, Griffin's Point, a dead zone for cell signals. SWAT mobilized, boats deployed. The team landed just after sundown. On the island, silence, but then a distant hum, like the crackle of an old generator. As they neared a collapsed cabin, a light flickered. Inside, a small fire burning, 2 sleeping bags, and the sound of soft sobbing. Then movement. Kayla stepped forward, eyes wide, bruised, but alive. In her arms, Emily, asleep, her tiny arms wrapped tightly around Kayla's neck. Kayla whispered through tears, "He said he was my father, but he's not. He kept us here. He lied." Dean Monroe was gone. A makeshift raft found on the far side of the island suggested he'd escaped again, disappearing into the wilderness like a shadow. But Kayla and Emily were safe. The footage of their rescue aired nationwide. Vigils were held across Oregon. Thousands of strangers sent messages, teddy bears, and prayers. But for Kayla, the real scars would remain, not just from the 8 days of captivity, but from a childhood full of silence and hidden trauma. Emily, still too young to understand, clutched Mr. Wiggles and softly asked, "Will Kayla still babysit me?" Kayla smiled and nodded. And though the man who did this may still be out there, 2 lives were pulled back from the edge. The story of the girl who vanished and the child who was never meant to be found became a symbol of survival. In the end, they weren't just rescued, they rescued each other. If this story touched your heart, please tap that like button right now. Share your thoughts in the comments, your voice matters. And if you want more haunting true stories just like this one, don't forget to subscribe.